Okay, we're now at Mont Mitchel, which is the French St Michael's Mount. We're going to take a look at that. We're just parked there on a free air, nice enough. And let's take a walk down there. Well, there's a mount there. As you can see, yes, it's tidal, but there's a bridge across and also a shuttle bus. Anyway, let's carry on walking. So, there it is. And it's scorching today. Let's take a look inside. Wow, very, very different. Not what I expected when we came in. The 135-year-old causeway was replaced with this new one that nicely winds with the wooden planks in 2014. The long history of Mont Saint-Michel is thought to date back to 708, when Aubert, Bishop of Avranches, had a sanctuary built on Mount Tomb in honour of the Archangel. The mount soon became a major focus of pilgrimage. In the 10th century, the Benedictines settled in the abbey while the village grew up below its walls. By the 14th century, it extended as far as the foot of the rock. An impregnable stronghold during the 100 Years' War, Mont Saint-Michel is also an example of military architecture. Its ramparts and fortifications resisted all the English assaults, and as a result the mount became a symbol of national identity. Following the dissolution of the religious community during the Revolution and until 1863, the abbey was used as a prison. Classified as a historic monument in 1874, it underwent major restoration work. Since then, work has gone on regularly all over the site. The views up here on the top are absolutely spectacular. You can see right out to sea. The tide comes in very fast indeed, but the views are great. You can even see the fortifications. If you just look here, there's one of the turrets sticking out on the fortifications. This is the monastery up on the top, so we're stood outside looking at the monastery. And the star of this show, Sydney the Seagull. The Abbey of Mont Saint-Michel is a unique building. Its plan is unlike that of any other monastery. Constrained by the pyramidal shape of the mount, its medieval builders wrapped the building around the granite rock. The Abbey Church, situated at the top, stands on crypts that create a platform designed to take the weight of a church 80 metres long. The building, known as the Merveille, often regarded as the jewel of the Abbey's architecture, is evidence of the architectural mastery of its 13th century builders who succeeded in perching 2 blocks of 3-storey buildings on a steep rocky slope. This required very precise technical calculations. On the ground floor, the narrow side aisle of the cellar acts as a buttress. Above that, the supports of the first 2 stories of the western building are stacked on top of one another. Finally, the structures become progressively lighter towards the top. On the outside, the building is supported by the powerful buttresses. The layout and the architecture of the building is influenced by the guiding principles of monastic life. The rule of St. Benedict, observed by the monks of the Mount, dictated that their days he devoted to prayer and work. So the rooms were organised around these two activities, and the spaces were reserved exclusively for the monks to respect and the principle of an enclosed order. Again, faithful to this principle, the rooms set aside to receive the laity were put on the ground floor and first floor of the Merveille. The construction of the Abbey of Mont Saint-Michel therefore conformed to two major imperatives: the requirements of monastic life and the constraints of topography.
On a des murs plus fins, parce qu'avec l'architecture romane, on devait avoir d'énormes murs très élevés pour pouvoir supporter tout. La crypte que l'on a là aujourd'hui est une des cryptes les mieux conservées de l'Amérique. Avec de la chaux vive et de la terre qui faisait venir du continent. 6 mois après, ils récupéraient tous les œufs, ils les mettaient dans les niches, ici ou encore là. Dans les murs, en fait, ils les empilaient. Vous savez, comme dans les catacombes à Paris, ils empilaient tous les os avec les crânes, avec. Alors aujourd'hui, ça peut nous choquer parce qu'on n'a pas les mêmes conceptions de la mort, ni des tombes, mais ils ont changé le niveau du sol pour pouvoir installer la route. Donc ils ont remblayé avec on ne sait quoi. On va 4 mètres, on ne sait quoi, sous le ciel, probablement des fonds. Alors on est dans la partie macabre de l'abbaye, je vais vous montrer.
St. Michael, head of the heavenly militia, was of great importance to medieval religious sensibility. In the New Testament, St. Michael appears in the book of Revelation. He fights and defeats a dragon, symbol of the devil. To medieval man, living in expectation and dread of the hereafter, St. Michael was the one who led away the dead and put their souls in balance on the day of the last judgment. Very widespread in the East from the 4th century, the worship of St. Michael only appeared in the West in the late 5th century, with the building of the first sanctuary at Mont in Italy in 492. Around the year 1000, churches and chapels dedicated to the saint proliferated all over Europe, often on the top of hills or promontories. After the 100 Years' War, devotion to St. Michael took on a special dimension because of the resistance of the Mount against the English. Finally, this worship expanded rapidly with the Counter-Reformation, for in the eyes of the Church, it was only the warlike angel who could fight against the Protestant heresy. In Christian iconography, St. Michael is often depicted holding a sword and a set of scales. Popular tradition and cults have made St. Michael the patron saint of knights and of all the guilds associated with arms and scales. The statue that stands on top of the belfry has a tradition attributes of the archangel. It was made in 1897. And here is St. Michael in one of the chapels slaying the dragon above the altar. We're back now in the village area down below the actual chapels that are high up on the mount. Very pretty village, really nice, small, narrow streets, very old fashioned. And this is a statue that stands on top of the belfry. was made in 1897 by the sculptor Emmanuel Fremlet and commissioned by the architect Victor Pettigrand, who wanted to see the new 32-metre steeple suitably crowned. The statue was restored in 1987.
No se le puede caer a uno